This is a Fox News alert. New information only on the record about how the female shooter may have been radicalized in Pakistan. Also, the Farouk family insisted the couple met on a dating website, but as reports surfaced, this may not be true. This may have been an arranged marriage. Now, we have new information and new answers this hour. Plus, developments pouring in about another possible terrorist attack by one of the killers. Live team coverage from Washington to San Bernardino, kicking off right now with Fox's Adam Housley in California. Adam.
Yeah, Greta, a lot of information coming out today. We heard last night and yesterday afternoon, really, that the radicalization process of Tashveen, the wife, began before she came here. We know James Comey, the director of the FBI, confirmed that today during his Senate hearing. We're now also hearing from investigators. They believe this goes even further. You might remember that early on, the family of Syed said the couple met on a dating website, an Islamic dating website. There is now significant concern that that website may have just been a cover, that they actually met in other ways. The investigation is moving more and more towards Pakistan on the international front. They're looking at the family's finances there as well to see if there are any funny finances, any deposits or money movement that might indicate there's some other connection. They're also looking at whether or not the family was radicalized themselves. This coming as we're also hearing about several different ways that schools and restaurants in this area are concerned about the actual about Saeed and his ability working for the county to get into their kitchens and to look at what they were doing. We know that not only restaurants but schools have brought in some experts in some cases. One school district, we were told, brought in a bomb-sniffing dog to ensure that there was nothing left there to obviously ease any concerns that parents or students might have. And we've also been told that when he leaves those locations, generally there's a signed sheet with his name, obviously his signature on the wall. Some schools, we're told, are putting up post-it notes to cover that name. As you can tell, Greta, a lot of information coming in at this hour. Really the headline showing that on the international front, they're looking closer and closer to Pakistan, and here domestically they're saying that the digital trail continues to build and that not only Tashveen pledged allegiance to ISIS, but her husband Saeed, before the creation of ISIS, may have actually pledged support to groups like the Muslim Brotherhood well before ISIS ever even came into being. Greta.
Adam, thank you. And think about this. These two killers already radicalized when this picture was taken. The terror couple is seen here arriving in Chicago at O'Hare Airport in July of 2014. Even before they talked about marriage, they talked about terror and waging jihad. So how and when did the terrorists become radicalized? Fox News Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge is here. Catherine, we've got information coming in from all sorts of different directions. What do you know?
Based on my reporting, the radicalization process was well underway long before these two individuals met each other. It doesn't matter whether it was on the internet or whether it was arranged. There was a lot of early reporting that somehow Tashveen Malik was the one who sort of poured gasoline on the fire of his radicalization. What we know now from Director Comey's on-the-record testimony is that that was not in fact the case, that he was well onto this path on his own inside the United States. And here's why that matters. That matters because all of the tripwires that are in place to identify American citizens who are radicalizing domestically failed in this case, as did the screening process for Malik to enter the United States.
All right. Do we know, or do you know how they were radicalized? Is it ISIS? Is it Al-Qaeda? Is it Pakistan? What's the origin of this? And does it matter?
There are a couple of great questions there. So with Saeed Farouk, there is evidence that he was working with a group of contacts that was known to the FBI. We know that through our reporting. But the contacts were not sufficient for them to open an independent investigation into the 28-year-old. On the wife,
they knew at some point that the group they were watching had contacts with him, but they didn't think there was enough.
Not enough.
But they didn't pursue it.
That's correct.
Not enough because legally not enough, or because their judgment was that this is not a guy to worry about.
I think it's probably a combination of both. And then on the wife, increasingly they're focused on this Red Mosque in Pakistan. The Red Mosque is kind of a cesspool, for lack of a better word, for this kind of radical thinking, and a number of terrorists have been tied to it. So those are the two areas that they're looking at.
I'll tell you what disturbs me on that K-1 visa. You've got Elizabeth Trudeau at the State Department on December 4th saying that she was satisfied with the application process, the proper protocol was fine. I mean, that's either she's incompetent or she's lying, because that simply didn't happen, right?
You know, our experience now with the podium at the State Department is that a lot of bad information comes out of that briefing, and it's very disappointing on a professional basis.
All right, but I mean, it's either, I mean, when she says that she's satisfied with the application process, and at least it was reported that there was a fake at a fake
Correct.
Pakistan? They could have Googled her off the application.
Right. We did some research into the K-1 visa process this afternoon because there was conflicting testimony between Director Comey and the head of the Immigration and Naturalization Service. What we see now is that based on the type of visa you apply for, an interview with a State Department official is mandatory.
And did she have one?
That is not known. It does appear that she did not have one.
Well, then she's got a lot of nerve saying on Friday that she's satisfied that the application process followed the proper protocol. Either she's incompetent or she lied, and neither one is particularly good. I'll say it. You didn't say it. I said it. Anyway, she's got some explaining to do.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Catherine, thank you.
You're welcome.